Yeah. Turn the other way. Guys.
Viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to today's lesson. The program is Mathematics for JHS. In our previous lesson, we looked at how to estimate or how to increase a quantity by a percentage or reduce a quantity by a percentage. And I gave you an example to go and look at. I'll give you an example, a take-home assignment. So I would want us to go through it before we move to the next lesson. So the question I posed goes this way. After increasing the price of a math textbook by 20%, the price was 300 Ghana cedis. What was the original price? So the original price has increased by 20%, and the new price is 300. It means that the new price corresponds to, you see how it goes. The new price corresponds to 100 plus 20. So 100% plus 20%. That's the new price because the original price has increased. So the new price will correspond to 100% plus 20%. And that gives us 120% off the old price or original price. So you know 120% is 120 divided by 100. To get the old price, so this is the new price, it corresponds to 120% off the old price, which is 120 divided by 100 times the old price. Now to get the old price, it will be the reciprocal of the new price, which will give us, instead of 120 divided by 100, we end up with 100 divided by 120 times the current price, which is 300. So if you reduce it, you end up with 25 times 10, which gives us 250 Ghana cedis. So it means the old price is lower than the current price, which is 300 Ghana. And that is the margin of reduction. So when you come across these things, you should be interested in whether the original price has increased or whether the original price has decreased. It's very important. Okay, so based from this, we move on to look at an important topic that borders on how to estimate profit and loss. How to estimate profit and loss, or solving problems involving profit and loss. You see, we are all traders in our daily lives. Sometimes you can go and buy a phone and then you sell the phone to another person. Let's say you bought the phone at 50 cedis, and when you go to sell it, you sell it at 30 cedis. You see, the price has reduced. You get it? The margin of reduction is what we call loss. You have not been able to sell it above the price you bought it. So you realize there's a loss in that case. Or sometimes you may have gone, perhaps you may have gone to buy a television set, which the price of which was 1,000. Then when you sell it to another, or after selling it to another person, or when you wanted to sell it to another person, you were able to sell it a little above the 1,000, let's say 1,200. You see, the selling price is higher than the amount you purchased the TV set. So in that case, you have profited from that transaction. So these are some important aspects of our lives that we need to have knowledge about. So at the end of the lesson today, you should be able to estimate the profit or loss of a transaction. So whatever transaction that you are engaging in or you have engaged in, you should be able to estimate whether there's a loss or profit in it. Then you should also be able to estimate the profit and loss percent. So you can express the profit as a percentage or loss as a percentage. And that is exactly what we'll be doing tonight. Well, as I've already indicated implicitly, I indicated the formula for profit, but let me state it clearly. Profit of any transaction is the selling price minus the cost price. How much you sold it minus how much you bought it. That gives you the profit. The loss is the other way. Loss is the cost price, how much it cost you to buy it and how much you have been able to sell it. So you find the difference between the cost price and the selling price. That is the loss amount. Now the profit percent, you take the profit margin, which is selling price minus cost price, and you divide it by cost price. You see, it follows from how to express a change as a percentage. That's what it's that's the foundation where you have to pick it from. Expressing a change as a percentage change. Selling price minus cost price over cost price. Then you multiply by 100. And if it is the loss percent, it is also the loss you have incurred, which is the which is the cost price minus selling price divided by cost price. Then you multiply by 100 to change it to, percentage. It gives us the loss percent. So let's look at a few examples. A man bought a car for 20 Ghana cedis. A man bought a car for 20,000 Ghana cedis and sold it for 15,000 Ghana cedis. Find the loss percent. So usually when you look at a question, you just can deduce from the cost price and the selling price whether you have made a loss or not. This man bought the car for 20,000. He sold it for 15,000. You see, the cost price is higher. If you bought it at a higher price, then it means you have made a loss. That's why the question is asking for the loss percent. So to find the loss itself, before you can find the loss percent, you need to find the loss, which is the cost price minus the selling price. So you end up with 20,000 minus 15,000, that is 5,000. That's just the loss. Now to estimate the loss percent, take the loss itself, divide by the cost price and multiply by 100. So you end up with 5,000 divided by 20,000 times 100. So as I've already indicated, the 100 is the whole number. You multiply it by the numerator, which is 5,000. So you have 5,000 times 100 divided by 20,000. 20,000 has 4 zeros. The numerator has 4 zeros, so they will take care of themselves. 5,000, 100,000. 5,000 times 100. I think that will be 5 zeros. So the numerator should be carrying 1 zero. So you have 50 times, it should have been 50, or you just write 5 times 10. And the numerator, the 4 zeros are gone, so you are left with 2. So you end up with 2 goes into 10, you get 5. 5 times 5 is 25%. This tells you the loss percent is 25%. Well, we take a second example. Mr. Amor bought some tomatoes for 240 Ghana cedis and sold them for 260 Ghana cedis. She bought, it's not Mr. Amor, sorry, it's Mrs. Amor bought some tomatoes for 240 Ghana cedis and sold them for 260 Ghana cedis. She bought pineapples for 150 Ghana cedis and sold them for 180 Ghana cedis. She also bought bananas for 120 Ghana cedis and sold them for 160 Ghana cedis. On which fruit did she make the greatest profit? So you just compare the selling prices and the cost price. So we start with tomatoes. Cost price is 240 cedis and the selling price is 260. You see the selling price is higher, so a profit is made. So under tomatoes, the profit will be 260 minus 240. That gives you 20 cedis. But to find the profit percent, I've already indicated, take the profit divided by the cost price and multiply by 100. You end up with 20 divided by 240. 240 is the cost price. Then you multiply by 100. So if you reduce it, you end up with 8 whole number 1/3. And 1/3, if you change it from the fraction to a decimal fraction, we have done examples like that before, you should be having 0.33. So the 1/3 is 0.33, and the answer then should be 8.33%. So in the first case, you have 8.33%. In the case of pineapples, The profit is 180 minus 150, and that gives us 30 Ghana cedis. So that's the profit. Now you take the profit divided by the cost price, which is 150. Then you multiply by 100. So you reduce it, and you get 100 divided by 5. And the answer is 20%. So the profit percent there is 20%. And finally, in the case of banana, the profit should be equal to 160 minus 120, because the selling price is 160 and the cost price is 120. You end up with 40 Ghana cedis as your profit. Or Mrs. Amwa ends up with 40 Ghana cedis as a profit selling banana. Then the profit percent will be the profit margin, which is 40, then divided by cost price, which is 120, times 100. So you end up with 40 times 100 divided by 120, which gives us 33 whole number 1 over 3. As I've already indicated, 1 over 3 anywhere is 0.33. So 33 whole number 1 over 3 gives us 33.33%. So the third and final example is Ima bought 2 TV sets at 2,500 Ghana cedis each. One got slightly damaged. So after buy, one got slightly damaged during transportation. He sold the undamaged one at 3,000 Ghana cedis and sold the damaged one at 2,200 Ghana cedis. You should calculate the percentage profit or loss made by Ima. So he bought 2 TV sets each at 2,500 Ghana cedis. One of them got damaged during transportation. So he was only able to sell it at 2,200, below the price. So to be able to calculate the profit or loss, what you should do is you have to take the 2,500 and multiply by 2. That will give you the cost price, which is 5,000 Ghana cedis. Now, if you want the selling price, he sold them differently, one at 3,000 Ghana cedis and one at 2,200. So you add the two selling prices, you end up with 5,200. So compare the selling price and the cost price, you see the selling price is higher, meaning despite the fact that the TV got damaged, he still managed to make some profit. And what is the profit? It's 5,200, which is the selling price, minus 5,000, which is the cost price. You end up with 200. So to estimate the profit percent, take 200 divided by the cost price, which is 5,000. Don't use 2,005. The total cost price is 5,000. So you are talking about 200 divided by 5,000 times 100. When you reduce it, you end up with 20 divided by 5, and that is 4%. Viewers, this brings us to the end of today's lesson. We hope to meet you in our next lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.